Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you, y'all? Woo, y'all. It's Tuesday. We are here for Tip Tuesday. Tip Tuesday. Did you hear what I said? Tip Tuesday. So with Tip Tuesday, we're gonna be coming on. We're gonna do our best to come on every Tuesday to give a tip. Now, tonight's tip, you may have heard it a lot, but you probably really hadn't thought about it. But tonight's tip is all about no is a complete sentence. Do you hear me? No is a complete sentence. And so many times we get caught up with not saying no. We've lost money. We've lost friends. We've lost so many things because we did not have it in us to say no. And we've wasted time. And so that's what we got to start thinking about and talking about as we approach this new year and adding this complete sentence. See, no, when you say no, that means you don't even have to have an explanation. You could just say no. If somebody say, well, why are you telling me no? At this time, I'm just saying no, because so many times we get caught up in the explanation, and then when we go through all of this stuff, it still leads us down a path that we don't want to go in. And so, just like one of my one of the other church girl CEOs, they always say we're gonna Bible it. So I'm gonna Bible it for you tonight, because in Matthew 5:37 it says, let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything more than this comes from evil. And honestly, I wish I had seen this scripture before and had experienced it before. Then I probably would not have experienced some of the things that I did experience, because I would waver in my no, waver in my yes. I would waver. And it's like, I know good and doggone well God told me to say no. Or I started getting that, you know how you start getting that little funny feeling? Or, some of us want to say, it was just my gut. No, that was the Holy Spirit trying to tell you not to do something, and you still said yes. Yeah, I'm with you. So that's what we have to start to look at. If you got to write this down, and this is in the ESV version, Matthew 5:37, let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything more comes from evil. That means all this explaining is not necessary. All this into going into the why you're not doing something is not necessary, because the Bible has already told us that let my yes be yes and let my no be no. I'm not sure who this is, so y'all, when you log in, make sure you're dropping your name in in the comments below so I can see who I'm talking about. Yes, that's right. Because when we start to think about this and we start to move forward, we cannot start this new year off the same way that we ended last year. We cannot come into this new year with the same mindset. We have got to be ready to move forward. We have got to be ready to jump out and do what we've been called to do and not worry about what happens. Yes, I'm not saying that you have to be rude with this. I'm not saying that you got to be nasty. No, you know how we do. I'm not saying get mecha with that. What I'm saying is that you can treat people with love. You can move in love and operate in love, but just know that those two letters, that's a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. When you learn the art of saying no, you're going to see that you're not as stressed. You're not worried about you're not worried about anything. You're not worried about doing anything. You're just going to know that you're going to operate in that area of just being able to say no. You're going to start seeing people treat you a different way, because they know that when you say something, you're coming from a place of sincerity. You're not saying it just to be nasty. You're not saying it just to be messy. You're not saying it because you're being selfish, but sometimes for your own self-being. Sometimes for you to have that, y'all, no is self-care. Yeah, I said it. No is self-care. So you have got to be able to take care of yourself and operate in the area that you know that you're supposed to operate in, but you can't do that if you don't know the art of saying no. You have got to operate in just that space. That's right, Amy. Quit over justifying everything. Your answers, your actions, and she coming in from Shelbyville. So when we over, and that's a big thing too, when we over justify, it almost makes you seem like you're not real, you're fake, you're not being sincere, because you can show up for somebody, and that even goes in our businesses. Let me tell you, all money ain't good money, because I have had clients that I literally have had to say no to. Before I even signed them, they were trying to tell me how I was supposed to run my business. Oh, I'm not going to use this software. Well, baby, we don't operate like that. And you just have to know, because when you start trying to appease and please everybody, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to be able to really stand up and be who you've been called to be, because you're trying to please everybody. Y'all, it is what, billions of people in this world. You cannot please them all. I just had a conversation with another business owner. We're partnering. I'm going to be partnering with them about doing something. And I said, well, he said, well, have you thought about doing this? I said, well, I really hadn't, because one of my friends do that. And they were like, well, there's billions of these peoples around here. So do you really think they can do all of them? And I was like, oh, I guess you got a point. And so, because we always want to think about, I don't want to go into this market because somebody else is doing this. And Amy's on. Amy can't be like, well, I'm not going to sell my jewelry here because somebody else is selling jewelry. No, everybody's not going to go to your table. Everybody's not going to go to her table, but the pie is big enough that we can all get a slice and not feel tainted in any kind of way. We have got to learn how to show up by just simply knowing that it's okay to say no. And again, the Bible tells us this. Now, another thing, the reason why we're hard to say no is that we have fear. They're not going to like me. They're not going to talk to me anymore. They're not going to be my friends. They're not going to ever be my client. They're not going to pay what I tell them. So I got to, I got to figure out how I can appease everybody. Can I tell you that no? That don't do that anymore? Because again, let me Bible it for you. The Bible tells us in 2 Timothy 1-7, for God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. So another, God has not given us a spirit of fear. We cannot fear what we know is going to protect us. We cannot fear saying no. We cannot fear about what other people are going to think, say, or do because we said no. We have got to operate in that place that we can move forward no matter what. We have got to be able to speak this into our spirits, like, God, today, give me that discernment of who I am supposed to work with. So that way, sometimes your no could be even a silent no inside of you. But you have got to know, KNOW, that you have the ability to say no and NO when you have to, because we are created. Yes, those of us that are nurturers, especially those of us that are givers, we have a giving spirit. We give to anything. Our heart hurts because we can't give. But guys, sometimes you got to say no even to that. Even though you know that you could help a situation, even though you know that you probably could get in and make it do what it do, it might still be your season to say no. And I'm going to say this too, be okay with saying it, because God has already told us that we have to let our yay be yay and our nay be nay, or our yes be yes and our no be no. And God has not given us that spirit of fear. You cannot create your table and invite other people to your table if you aren't able to say no. Because see, some people that are going to want to be in your circle, they're leeches, and they're only going to be there to leech and bleed off of you and pull all of your energy out, pull all of your knowledge out. They wouldn't pay you anything, but they will go somewhere else and pay it. And so when they come back, you're going to have to handle them a different kind of way. And they may want to get everything from free for you again. This is your time to say no. I'm trying to help you. Not only am I helping you, but I'm helping me. And I know that I've said this before. I will be transparent with you. There have been situations where I have wanted to help, and I was helping, but I was helping so much that I was killing myself. I was helping so much that what I needed was lacking. And then I'm living in a place of lack because I've been doing so much. And when I had to say no, it hurt me so much. but you have to be able to move on. You have to be able to look at everything that is around you. And most of all, know that it's okay. Yeah, they might come at you funny. They might look at you sideways. But at some point, you got to think about, what did God tell me to do? How did God tell me to handle this? How did God tell me to walk into this room? How did God tell me to handle this meeting? How did God tell me to bring this group together? How did God tell me to show up? And you have to do that. And again, we cannot have that spirit of fear. And that's right, Amy. For the Bible tells me so. Yes, and yes, and yes. And hey, Sister Rosina, long time no see. That's right. Hey, Madonna, yes, what did God tell me? That should be your question and your mantra anytime you get ready to go into a meeting, anytime that you're getting ready to speak to someone, anytime that you've been asked to do something, you got to consciously say, what did God tell me? How did God tell me to show up? Because I got in a situation, I'm going to be real transparent. And I said, God, now if you don't work this out for me, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to sweat it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to do it. And God opened the door. But then when it was time for me to take care of it on the back end, it was a struggle. And then I was like, well, God, you told me to do this. But then it was to the point where God just blatantly told me, yes, I said I was going to open the door for you. Yes, I was going to fix it, but I didn't tell you what you were going to have to deal with once it was done. I never said that the backside was going to be easy. So some of y'all have been questioning what God is giving you because you thought the whole situation, the whole process was going to be easy. Sometimes God gives us hard for us on the backside because we still got to still trust him. We still got to still believe in him. We still have to show up how God tells us to show up. Because see, that front side might be easy, but that back side of that mountain is where you're gonna be tired, where your money ain't gonna look right. Your money gonna be funny, your change gonna be strange. People that you know that should be calling you, you trying to figure out why they ain't calling. You said you wanted to meet with me. God done already fixed all this other stuff, but that's part of that process. We cannot lose our vision on where we're going and what God has told us to do. We have got to do it in the way that he tells us. And we cannot think that it's going to always be ice cream and sprinkles. Because think about it, even the weather is not always good. So if the weather is not always good and God created the weather, then guess what? Guess what? Your life is going to be the same thing. That's what God, God is the only one you have to answer to. Absolutely. 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 When we realize that the only person we got to answer to is God, when we say no, especially when God tells you to say no, you better say no. Because see, when you say yes, you're going to get that rough side on the back side, on the front side and the back side. This sounds like I'm coming. Yes, I'm coming up. On the rough side. But see, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want to come up on the rough side. I don't want to come up on the rough side of the mountain. I want that. I'm to the point now. I don't want to climb the mountain. I don't want to be on the mountain. I want to go through the mountain, because right now that's the kind of fight that I have. That's where I want to be, because God told me that if I just pray, the mountains can be moved. I'm tired of looking at things, because see, when you look at a mountain and it's too big, that sets in that you get that fear. But I'm to the point now, I don't want any fear. I don't want any hesitation. All I know is I want to go for what God has told me to go for. I want to show up, be my authentic self. Don't care if I'm too loud. Don't care if I laugh. Don't care if I scream. I want to show up, and God shows up and moves the situation in a way that I will be able to win, because in this season, all I want to do is win. I want to do it. And that's right. I'm coming up the victorious side. Absolutely. Because I'm sick and tired of us getting halted and stifled because we're looking at the situation and not looking at we're looking at what's in front of us and not what's at the end. We're acting like God has not showed us the complete vision. But the problem is you have been doubting yourself. The problem is you've been saying no to the wrong person. You've been saying no to yourself and not to the ones that are holding you back, not to the ones that are dogging you out, not to the ones that are talking about you on about everything. You saying yes to them. You're saying yes to the users. You're saying yes to you're saying yes to the narcissists that don't care about you no kind of way. They using you. You keep saying yes to that and saying no to yourself. You have got to learn to say yes to yourself and no to those that are tearing you down. Because when you operate in the way that God has told you, then you will step into that situation and be victorious and go ahead and identify. I know God is not going to be easy, but I know you with me. I know every step that I take, every move that I make, you're going to be right there with me. You're going to show up and you're going to give me that ability. That's what we have to do. I have a necklace that says that faith moves mountains. Absolutely. 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 We are the ones stepping on us. And what you said was key. Faith. The problem is we want everything to be like this. We don't want to say no because we feel like we're getting ready to miss out on something. We don't want to say no because we think that this particular person is who I need to get to my next level. We don't want to say no because we are afraid to walk in other areas and be with people that don't look like us, talk like us, or operate like us. We saying no to the ones that probably got the solution to the problem. But because they take you out of your comfort zone, you're saying no. Today, I want to declare and decree with you. This is your day of saying yes to yourself. Say yes to yourself. Yes to yourself. Because when you say yes to you, then you can move. Then you can trust you. Then you can be who God has truly called you to be. Because you are saying yes to yourself. Today, you need to start saying no to those outer voices. Start saying no to that voice in your head that tells you what you can't do. Y'all know I tell y'all all the time, tell me what I can't do and I'm going to prove you how I can. Think about it. Think about it. I'm going to let that sit right there. Let that sit right there with you. Because when you learn to say yes to you, everything else around you is going to work out. When you say yes to you and you start operating in the faith that God has given you, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So when your faith kicks in, that means you got to have hope. That means you can't doubt it. You got to have the hope that it is going to come to pass. You got to have the hope. You got to have the insight. You got to have everything. Because without hope, we can't move. Without hope, we can't be successful. Without hope, we can't show up our authentic selves. Because some of you, again, have said no so much to you. You said no so much to yourself that you don't even know how to say yes to you. And you're tired, you're sluggish, you're not completing projects because you have not learned to say yes to yourself. So tonight, y'all, I don't know what else to tell you for your Tip Tuesday. No is a complete sentence, but also start to say yes to yourself. Because you, just like you've been telling yourself what you couldn't do, maybe because of your age, maybe because of your education, maybe because of you think that you lack a skill. Let me tell you something. Everything you want to do is somebody out here that's willing to teach you how to do it. and can teach you on the level that you can learn. So today you're going to get up and make that first step. Today you getting ready to jump into that pool, because guess what? The water is trouble. And it's time for you to jump in and do what you know to do. Well, all right, y'all. I say yes to my best self. Absolutely. 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 And sometimes you got to say yes to your worst self, because once you say yes to that worst self, you can work on it a little bit more. Jump, let's go. Absolutely. Jump, let's go. So y'all, this is tonight is just the launching pad of where we're going to go. And for some of you, you may need some assistance with having affirmations to how can I say this, to motivate yourself to go. So what I put in the link, what I put in the chat is a link to go ahead and get our download of 21 confessions and 19 pledges to amplify your voice. Because so many times we have been operating, but we don't, how can I say this? We don't encourage ourselves. We don't show up for ourselves the way that we should. We don't encourage ourselves. We don't speak to ourselves in a positive manner. We don't give God the glory that he can give us, because one of the biggest confessions that I wanted to share with you guys is I will not leave money on the floor. I will step out of my comfort zone and reach my goals. Because some of us, we got to start saying this every morning. I'm going to reach my goals. I'm going to reach my goals. I don't care what you do. I'm going to reach my goals. And then my other one, obedience is better than sacrifice. I will not let the change that God is showing me make me feel less than. I will be who he has called me to be, not what others expect me to expect of me. And the reason why I'm saying that this is something that you need to hold on to, and that's because, again, that's part of saying yes to yourself. Yes to yourself. Yes to yourself. So go ahead, jump on over there. We need to stop using excuses as excuses to prevent us from the greatest. He has called us to. Absolutely. That's so true. We have so many excuses for why we can't do nothing. And it's not even the simple excuses of I don't have no gas, I don't have no money, I don't have no babysitter, I don't have this, I don't have that. Well, guess what? Figure it out. Figure it out. And right now, with the age of the internet, if nothing else, you can sit at home and get a lot of stuff done. And I'm going to leave that right there. But I do want you to jump on over, get it's a download. It's only $23 for Represent 2023. How we gonna win together? These are things that you can speak over yourself, no matter where you are in what you're doing. I want you to jump on over, use the link in the comment section. If you got any questions, make sure that you're dropping them. If you are watching this replay, I want to hear from you. I want you to drop your name, where you're chiming in from, because we want to know who is joining us, because this is our year to win. This is our year of yes. This is our year of yes. This is our year of yes. You gonna be amazed at the things and the doors that open up for you, because you have learned to say yes to yourself, and you are getting your mindset changed when you wake up in the morning, when you walk out. Before you walk out the door, you're speaking life to yourself. Yeah, speaking life to yourself. Think about it. Well, guys, it's been fun. It's been real. I hope that you got something out of our Tip Tuesday tonight. And I want, yes, Madonna, our year of yes, yes, and yes. I hope that we hear from you real soon. We look forward to you joining us with all of our Church Girl CEO and Deborah Franklin Publishing. We have some things that are going to be coming out real soon. And if you have not already joined our YouTube channel, make sure you go over and subscribe to our YouTube channel. A lot of times people say, well, you've been having this YouTube channel for a long time. I know, y'all, but I just haven't been using it right. I actually use it for how that's a whole different class. I'm not gonna go there with you because I'll be on here all night. Y'all know how I get when I start getting into teaching mode. But all right, guys, I love you to life. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Go on over, use the link in the chat. Get your copy of the 21 I'm sorry, my sinuses of the 21 confessions and 19 pledges. Get that for you. Get that, Madonna. You know I'll go into teaching mode in a heartbeat. But go ahead, get that download. Check that out. We want to hear from you. All right, guys. Make sure you go over to that YouTube channel. Subscribe to any of our channels, y'all. We got Church Girl CEO. We got Conversations with Deborah Franklin. We got Deborah Franklin Publishing. You can subscribe to all three because you never know what's going to happen and when you don't want to miss anything. All right, guys, have a great one. Peace.